I was contacted by a representative from Senator Williams' office in Philadelphia a few weeks ago to ask if I would come in and testify in front of the Education Committee concerning Senate Bill 1381, which is, in essence, he refers to it as pass the trash. In essence, what it is it requires schools to share information of misconduct for past employees with other schools. Right now, that doesn't happen very often. Obviously, if there's a criminal charge and it becomes public, then it becomes a public record and we can get that. But otherwise, it's extremely difficult to do. And schools administrators are driven by concerns about liability, and they're just not going to turn stuff over. What in effect that means is there are times when there's just no doubt a teacher can have acted inappropriately, and either early on in the investigation or before they even start an investigation, the school can offer them to resign, a severance, and maybe even a deal to keep it quiet and secret, and then they can go on and get another job in another school in another state and perhaps commit the exact same act and or worse on a student. We've had a number, unfortunately, I think we were contacted because we've had a lot of educator on student cases in the past few years for our population. And it has been extraordinary, the number that we've had. It's been shocking to me. I don't really know what's going on, other than it's unacceptable. And it's discouraging that a senator from Philadelphia is calling a DA from Lancaster to talk about a volume of these particular cases. But it is what it is, and we have to deal with it. And he's taking active steps, and the Education Committee asked a lot of good questions when I testified yesterday. So this bill would give this, not only have the schools share, but they have to share the information with other employers, or there's they have built in, I believe, up to a $10,000 fine and 20 days to respond to give that information. They also give them immunity from suit, so that they have to turn it over. It would have the effect, a couple positive effects from my viewpoint. One, school districts are going to be less likely to employ, obviously, somebody who's had misconduct, in particular sexual misconduct on a child in their past. So that's going to prevent another incident from happening. And then the other possibility is, there are cases where we can bring in evidence of prior bad acts to prove a current offense. So if somebody had a prior abuse on a child a few years in their past, and they were on trial for a current one, a pending one, there are ways under the law we could try to get that evidence introduced if the judge determines it's relevant and not too prejudicial to the person that could come in. So it could help us strengthen our case as well. But overall, I think we all are interested in protecting the children, and this bill, from my point of view and from the Executive Committee of the DA's Association, is a positive step, certainly in the right direction as far as sharing information and then ultimately preventing child abuse. And even if it prevents one incident because they caught somebody in another state and try to get a job up here and they're not hired, then that's a win for everybody. I don't see too many downsides for this, especially once they remove the immunity, the liability potential for these schools, which is what their holdup's always been. And we really shouldn't be talking about liability or immunity. It just should be a non-issue. It's just when you're looking out for your children, some of the most vulnerable people of our society, we should all be on the same page. And I think this bill helps bring us together. So.